Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. I'll tell you, just as good as ever. I'll tell you that. Wow, wow, wow. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. There is a lot of opportunity in my personal estimation on the horizon for XRP. Right now, we have just seen some correlation in the Russell, where the Russell kind of dropped like that. And I do think that XRP, guys, we're trading in that range. I think we could dip down a little bit and it's going to represent opportunity. Why do I believe that? Because I believe that in the month of October, when these ETFs start getting approved and a whole bunch of other things start happening, I think what we're going to do is we're going to turn around and it is going to fire off. Guys, we are going to see, in my estimation, between now and the end of the year, is when we're going to see that final fifth wave bang, and you got to be ready for it. You got to be ready for it. And I know it's scary. These are the scariest times. Guys, it's in the volatility. Just as things are ready to absolutely blast off, that it is the scariest time. And I'll tell you, you got to have nerves of absolute steel, like they say, diamond hands, because of course, that's what it feels like. You just got to be, I'm going to just fight through and all that kind of stuff. And if you've never been through a bull run before, let me just give you a little hint. It's going to test you in ways you never thought you ever could have been tested. And your nerves are going to be shot if you're looking at the day-to-day price action. You got to, when in doubt, zoom out and look down the road at what's coming. Guys, we know that we're seeing this institutional adoption in the space powerfully. The regulatory clarity piece, it's just like moving full steam ahead. We've got the ETFs coming out and all that kind of stuff. And what we're going to see in this last quarter, this fourth quarter, I think is going to be tremendous because, of course, we know the Federal Reserve on the 29th of October is expected to drop another 25 basis points. And that provides, every drop they do, and I think there's going to be a drop every month right to the end of the year. Every drop that they do, it just brings more liquidity into the market. And money moves. Money moves to where it's going to see the highest and the greatest yields, doesn't it? And of course, when we see that, we see a big disconnect in the market because as you're, going out there and dropping the rates and bringing more money into the market, well, where's that money actually, when you add money to the market that is always already saturated with cash, it drops the purchasing power of those dollars. So in a lot of ways, the economy and the market, they disconnect. The market starts to really like it. And oh boy, do the equities and this space and all that really take off. The economy, of course, it's just harder to stretch that dollar than it was before. What, isn't it? Yep, that's what goes down. And this is where you learn to position yourself. You learn to position yourself to see the highest potential yield in your money. And guys, most of us can't be whales. Most of us cannot be whales. So we take our pennies and we stack it to their dollars. And they play a hard game. Guys, they play a hard game. And I would recommend a lot of these folks that are out there, on some of these exchanges that allow up to 100x, leverage, don't get yourself into that. Don't get yourself into it because I've watched so many people that they're absolutely certain it's going to go this way, get completely liquidated and took, years to build that position up and then bang, it's gone. It is just not worth the risk. Guys, another thing I would also caution, you know how a lot of these platforms out there say, oh, well, you can deposit your XRP on here and we'll give you this massive APY, you stake it. XRP is not a native proof of stake blockchain, number one. Number two, you're having to custody your assets with these platforms and you don't get to see behind the scenes how solvent they are or anything like that. I remember Celsius and Voyager and all the people that got tagged there. You want to be, in a position where you're not being enticed and that type of thing. Remember this. This space already represents a significant amount of risk, doesn't it? And the reward ratio. Anyone who got into this space Prior to the presidential election, come on, you were up hundreds upon hundreds of percent, and you would have never seen that in a traditional market practically in your entire lifetimes. So that is massive right there. But guys, I don't think it's over. I do not think it's over. I think we are going to see some retracing, and to Judy and I, of course, that spells opportunity. But on top of that, I think we're going to see some spikes up there. You just got to be able to weather that storm. Get yourself prepared for it. Get yourself ready for it. I'll tell you, it's going to be a big deal. Big deal. Wow. I know when that last bull cycle happened for Judy and I, mentally, we were just not really ready for what was about to take place. I mean, I remember telling her, when things got to a certain level that we were reaching this height here, and if things keep going, it's going to be, stupendous kind of deal, and things like that. And we were not as mentally prepared as what we thought we were. And that's why I'm always telling folks, don't rest on your laurels. Just be vigilant. Just get ready. That is for sure. That is for sure. Guys, we did open up our coaching, by the way. Just that came to my mind. And I think I have about 3 or 4 spots left. I think there's a spot open on the 8th and maybe 2 or 3 on the 9th there. But there are some spots there. If that interests you, where we get together that one-on-one time, you and I, and we take a look at your portfolio, making sure that that is balanced towards your goals. We share the pitfalls that we made so that you don't have to make those same mistakes. And of course, we work with you to develop an exit strategy that is really going to help you succeed, along with a bunch of other techniques that we throw in there that, are really, really actually, a lot of people have employed them. Practical steps to really help you make it. It's a big deal. But anyway, if that interests you, just visit me at thedigital.outlook.com and you can get yourself on the calendar if there's any more available spots. But guys, where we're going and what we see down the line here, I'm telling you, it's so promising. And yet, a lot of folks, I get it. We get, that is one thing about the human condition, right? We get discouraged waiting for it. It's kind of like sitting there watching toast or watching water boil. My mom used to say, a watched pot never boils. And that's kind of true. You're thinking, how long is this going to take? And then all of a sudden, it happens and whatever. But, you got to get out of the habit of every day looking at the day-to-day price action and, getting all worked up about it. Guys, look to the long haul. Look to where it is. Now, you will see that this space is going to have, hey, for every bull market, there is a bear market. A bear market is coming, but I don't think we're there yet. Are there corrections in a bull market? Oh, yeah, for sure there are. And some of them in this space can be very, very steep, to be sure. But guys, like we've called it in the past, hey, when we just had that big flash crash and people were crying, well, look, man, we got back up there the other day, 299. Right now, I think we're at 285 and stuff like that. And it is that volatility that kind of sends your stomach tumbling. But you're learning, you're getting used to what's happens in this space. When we actually see this thing blow off, you are going to know it. There will be no guessing. The whole thing will be going up together. A rising tide will raise all ships, to be sure. When it comes crashing down like that into a bear market where we've seen in the past 80 to 90% drops, you're going to know that too. You're not going to need anybody like me coming out and telling you, this is it. No, you're going to know. And guys, that's how it's going to go down. Don't let yourself get too discouraged. Just be ready for whatever happens. That's what I would say right there. Be ready for it. It's going to be a big deal. Now, I've got a couple articles that I am going to drop into the comments here that will reinforce what we're saying. That, hey, we could expect some dips, but we are really looking for a major move to the upside, and it will happen fast, guys. When it happens, it is going to happen fast. That is for sure. I'll tell you what. Wow. Guys, great things happening in the space, to be sure. And I'll tell you what, hit the like and subscribe and that notification bell, because if anything big comes out, I'm always usually getting on there and letting you know what it is so that you can react to it lickety split. I'll tell you what. And so do that for us. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I don't often ask folks to do that, but hit the notification bell so you're not going to miss out on any of the updates that we got. And I'll tell you what, guys, until later on today when we have another fantastic video for you, have a fabulous one and take care.